Whoa, wading through all four speeches. I was kind of hoping I'd be number one, but here I am.
You are.
I am at the end. And I would like to just acknowledge all of those of you who are here. It's a very exciting moment for the party, and it's an exciting moment for all of the candidates. And I really appreciate the fact that so many of you have taken time to come to this AGM. It's really an important event. I wanted to let all of my friends know that we're down to one sleep. So tomorrow we'll find out the results. My friends have been calling me each day saying, how many sleeps? And so we're down to one. I wanted to tell you this is my second speech. I woke up at 3 o'clock last night and I decided that the first speech, which was going to be about being elected and electable and capable of organizing the party and raising funds and being the most credible person to debate with Carol James and Gordon Campbell, was something that you've probably read about in the material you got with your AGM package. And if you want a more expanded version of that, you can go to my table and get that. So I decided that instead of that, I was going to tell you a story from my week. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge the other candidates. All 5 leadership candidates believe in the Green Party of BC. And they've all invested a lot of time, energy, and money in support of the party and their candidacy. And I take my hat off to all of my competitors for their willingness to take on this campaign. Opening yourself up to public scrutiny is not always easy. And I think it's really important that these people have done that. And so I'd like you to give them all a round of applause. So now I want to get on to my story, because I think it illustrates why the Green Party needs to be at the table. On Tuesday, I attended the Capital Regional Housing Corporation board, on which I sit. This board is the guardian of rental properties in the Capital Regional District in Greater Victoria. And we have within our portfolio both below market rent tied to income properties as well as market housing properties. And the purpose of the board is that we preserve from redevelopment and privatization those rental properties, because there has been no new rental properties built in BC in the last 25 years. We also attempt to bring new rental housing on board. And so what happened at this meeting is not an unfamiliar thing. We found out that yet another project that was supposed to have some affordable housing component in it was not going to. So we've had Dockside Green that was supposed to have 44 units go down to nothing. A property in Sydney that was supposed to have 17 go down to 3. And a property in downtown Victoria that was supposed to have 30 to go to none. So in the end, there are no affordable units that are or will be built. And it reminded me when I sat there and listened to this about the suspended impotence we have at tackling the major problems that face our communities. And at the end of the meeting, I was talking about my discouragement to one of the other members of the board, and he happens to be an industry representative from the development community. And he shared with me the Latin phrase, illegatimus non carbonundrum, which is don't let the bastards get you down. But it's hard not to. The policies that we have in place in British Columbia are destroying our communities, they're killing our environment, and they're creating a false economy based on the selling off of wealth of future generations at fire sale prices in an orgy of greed. And so these things, to invest in those things that matter, that build and repair community, that steward and restore the environment, and that create reasonable wealth in a sustainably productive economy. We need to spend money where it's needed, and we need to cease subsidizing those things that are contrary to creating the society that we want. We need to stop the pinched, mean-spirited view of how BC should be. I have a personal disappointment as a politician in politicians who lack creativity and guts, in bureaucrats who fear change, and in citizens who disengage. The status quo is not an option. That the Green Party be at the table, not shouting from the margins. In Esquimalt, we would not have a pedestrian charter if I wasn't at the table. We would not be on the verge of passing a pesticide bylaw if I was not at the table. We would not be removing weeds. We would still be removing weeds with Roundup instead of steam if I wasn't at the table. We would not be thinking about urban agriculture. We would not be planning for community gardens, and we would not be talking about what it would take to become a sustainable community if I was not at the table. So the Green Party needs to be at the table. So how do we do that? We've always prided ourselves on policies that were ahead of the curve, but our policies need to be reviewed and updated and changed. Some of them are tired and some of them are out of date. So what we need is a bold, comprehensive plan that is both practical and visionary. We need to keep the other parties off guard. We need to challenge them to respond. And we need to make sure that they can't borrow our language.
Hear, hear.
Fortune to have a conversation with Ken Malamud, who's going to speak to us, and I hope he speaks about this, who's the mayor of Whistler at the Union of BC Municipalities Conference. And he said, in casual conversation, I wish the Green Party would adopt the natural step. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. It allows us to have a long-term vision and a methodology for developing a new Green Book. It provides for concrete, pragmatic, early year objectives that we could run a campaign on. The good news is that companies like Interface Carpet, which was one of the most polluting corporations on the planet, was able to achieve 60% of their goals in the first 10 years of their 25-year plan. And they plan to go toward being a zero waste, zero emissions company, and finally to being a regenerative company, where they're actually going to mine landfills for carpet that can be recreated into new carpet. The great news is that within the party, I've come across people that have great expertise to help us in this task of creating a better policy. People with mining policy expertise and energy expertise, renewable run-of-river projects, people with seniors' health and housing issue expertise, and people with innovative ideas about public education and public health. We have within our party the resources that we need, and then we can call on experts if we don't. I would like to be the leader to take that vision that we developed together to the people of BC. I would like to translate the 16% polling support into votes. I would like to increase that support. And I would like a chance to win a seat or two or more in 2009. Thank you very much.